Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest in the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, so today's guest is John Conway, and he is the CEO over at Sparkling Bins Business. John, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I certainly appreciate it. Excited to talk about the industry and whatever questions come my way.
All right, John. So we got a lot to talk about. We're definitely going to get into sparkling bins, the opportunity, really the story behind it. Since we did kind of like our warm up and our pre-session, I've been hearing more. It's kind of like one of those things. Once you hear about it once, now you start hearing about it all over the place. I got some stories for you too. But before we get started with that, we're going to start this episode the way that we start them all, with what we like to call our Mission Matters Minute. So, John, at Mission Matters, our aim and our goal is to amplify stories for entrepreneurs, executives, and experts. That's our mission. John, what mission matters to you?
Helping entrepreneurs, right? So this is a very niche business. Being able to provide the most efficient sanitizing trucks to clean dumpsters and trash bins in the industry and help entrepreneurs get into the business and help them get started with our turnkey package.
It's great. Love bringing mission-based entrepreneurs on the line to share, why they do what they do, how they're doing it, and really what we can all learn from that so we all grow together. So great to have you on. And I guess just to get us kicked off here, John, like sparkling bins, like how'd you come up with this idea? Like what sucked you into the industry?
So I was working for a Fortune 100 company for 25 years. I got laid off during the housing market crash in 2009. I'd worked with them, same company, worked my way up the corporate ladder, did very well, relocated many times. And after 25 years, I got laid off and I'm like, okay, I've always had this desire to own my own business. They might be my own boss. Having worked for corporate America, having to report numbers weekly and daily to corporate in terms of, I was done with that. So I didn't know what business I wanted to get into. And it happened by accident. My wife was chasing after me 2 days before us hosting a 4th of July party, saying we had 3 trash bins full of maggots and I had to clean them. And my response to her was, trash bins are meant to be dirty. We just put them on the side of the house. And she said, no, you don't get it. And she's more of a clean freak than I am. So fast forward, I probably used 150 gallons of water from a garden hose, bleach, Pine Sol, and I was cleaning those trash bins, and all that gunk was going down the storm drains, which we know is illegal. And fast forward, I go inside, take a shower because I was filthy, and started Google searching online to find chemicals to prevent maggots. And to find out that there were some sites popping up over in Europe. So this concept started 45 years ago in Europe. And I'm like, so I'm trying to Google search a company in Miami to come clean my bins.
Yeah.
What? So I said, bingo, this is a niche business. If people are paying this back, 14 years ago now, they're paying $5 to have their bins cleaned. I would do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
So I didn't even tell my wife, I traded my car in. I bought a pickup truck, found a welder, and a month later I was out there cleaning trash bins.
Really? Wow. So first off, your wife got you into the business, it sounds like. And what'd she say when you were like, all right, we're out here, we're gonna clean bins? Like, what was she thinking? She's like, great. Was she at first like, okay, maybe I shouldn't have asked him to do this? Or like, how did that go?
No, so I am a lot more of a risk taker. She's very conservative. So to be honest with you, I didn't even tell her I was getting into the business. I went in, traded my car in, bought a truck. She came home from having her nails done and said to me, what's that truck doing in our driveway? I said, I just found a welder. We're going to look at the systems over in Europe where it started 45 years ago. And we're going to start cleaning trash bins. And at first she thought I was crazy. But, soon after the first 3 or 4 weeks, she said, I know that you've got a lot of passion for what you do and that you're going to give this 100%. So it became very supportive. This is a local family-owned business for 14 years. And we've had a lot of people say to me, what a great idea.
Yeah.
Concept, Yes, it's
In
great.
retrospect, though, right? In retrospect, right? In the beginning, it's like when you're first getting started, like because you said it was new to the area. So, what was that like getting? I mean, what every entrepreneur struggles with, like getting that first customer. What other than yourself, of course, because your wife had you hired. But other than that,
Oh yeah.
what was that like?
So, I was probably the first to bring the concept over to the US, and I can tell you
Mm,
that I made a lot of mistakes our first year. The biggest challenge we have with this industry is if you need a landscaper, a pest control company, or pool service company, you know where to find one. Most
mhm.
people are not out there Google searching trash bin cleaning. So my first year, I made a lot of mistakes in terms of cleaning bins at 10 o'clock in the morning versus at 5 o'clock in the evening when people were coming home from work. That's exposure you're going to get to help you scale a lot faster.
Mm,
So it took a lot of doing things the wrong way to finally figure out. My truck was a moving billboard, putting my truck in parades with two bins in the back of my hopper with the steam coming out. I drive my kids to school in the morning, and they were embarrassed as heck. But I get 4 or 5 calls from moms saying, "What a great
yeah,
concept! You steam clean bins. So sign me up."
that's their college education right there, right? Come on.
Yeah.
What a great story. And so as you're growing this business, like I still want to keep it in the early days a little bit longer because the reason I want to do that too is there's other entrepreneurs that are going through it right now, right? It's easy to look at your business where it's at right now and say, oh my gosh, like you were first and you had this advantage or that advantage, which again, that's like one of those things that's easier to look at. But in those early days, like so you're selling your business. You're are you doing B2B in the beginning or are you doing B2C? Like what does that piece of it look like? Are you going after the corporate accounts or just are the community?
Yeah, I mean, it's all B to C.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all B to C, and certainly it was more so. I had to find clients; they're not going to find me because they don't know the service even exists.
Yeah.
So it was
Yeah.
a matter. We did a lot of creative stuff in terms of putting our trucks in these different trade shows and just driving
Hmm.
around. Every time I went to Costco or let's say Home Depot, I put two bins in the back of my truck and I drive it around, and that was a moving billboard. That's what got the attention. And I soon realized that to grow this business and to scale it a lot faster, you have to keep your routes as tight as possible.
Mm.
Trying to cover an entire county of 4.5 million people with one truck. And
Yeah.
I soon found out that wasn't the answer. So I focused on an area of 10,000 homes and
Mm.
started cleaning bins late in the afternoon. And that's how I started to scale. Okay, let's get a
Hmm.
truck number two. And then, of course, the manufacturing side kind of happened, you know, as I was posting videos to YouTube, people were calling me saying, "Can you build me a truck?"
Hmm.
Sure, why not?
What caused you, and that's a great point there. When you started creating content, like what inspired that? Because there's a lot of business owners out there that, in my opinion, should be creating content, and you wouldn't necessarily like. To me, it's not intuitive. Well, actually, it is intuitive, but to most, it might not be. Like, why create content, right? What sparked that interest to start posting videos and start doing that?
Well, yeah, I mean, so certainly posting videos was to raise the awareness. I started posting things on Facebook. Facebook was becoming very popular. This was now back
Hmm.
in 2010, and as I was posting content more so for people that were following my group or my
Yeah.
page to say that you know there's a bin washing company in Miami, and then from there people were seeing my videos, and
Hmm.
it, the actual posting was really to gain attraction and to really try to educate the consumer that the service existed.
Mm. And in this point, were you thinking of it on Facebook as kind of like building a community? I know we weren't using that word back then too much when it came to online, that is. I mean, we weren't now you hear many people talking about building an online community or building a community around your brand or your business, whether it's the consumers or the suppliers or the whole eco chain. Were you kind of thinking along that line of building a community, or was it like, hey, we're just going to create content to inform? I'm just curious where your head was at.
Yeah, so up front it was more so the content, and
Yeah.
then from there it evolved into we have many different Facebook groups that are geared towards this industry,
Yeah.
that is very educational. So originally it was more so about the content, and then okay, let's build a house that people can come to and share
Hmm.
ideas, and okay, what's working for you, what's working for you.
Yeah.
That's not working for me. So it really has grown into, we've got groups of over 8,000 people.
Amazing. Did that surprise you? Like, as that started to take legs, like, did that surprise you at
Oh
all?
yeah. I mean, I would say that every time you talk to someone, they're saying, wow, why not think about this? This is a great idea. And I think as it became more and more popular, more and
Hmm.
more people wanted to follow these groups to learn more about the industry. And that really
Yeah.
helps people understand, is this the right business for them?
Mm.
We talk about transparency and being upfront. This is not a get rich overnight business. You have to
Hmm.
scale, you have to do things. And, when you're buying from Sparkling Bains, we give you an onboarding marketing call that talks to you about all the things that worked for us and the things that
Yeah.
didn't work for us, because we want to make sure you scale a lot faster than we did.
Hmm. And so let's talk about that transition. So or I should say the addition, because you're still helping clients one-on-one, but at some point you're building this community, and you have this traction, and now you're also educating, and now people are like, hey, can you get me a truck, man? I want in. Like, what was that like, taking on those first, like, okay, we'll do it?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I go back and I talk to my daughter and to my wife and to
Yeah.
my son back in the day when people would fly in to meet with me. They come to my house, and
Yeah.
that was my office. We'd have lunch and talk about that, and that was great because I really enjoyed helping
Hmm.
people get into this industry, and it's come a long way in terms of where we used to do training in our um, front yard of our house. You know,
Hmm.
that was way back in the day as people were kind of learning about this. But I can tell you that the first year was kind of slow, and then I started doing some advertising on YouTube and what have you, and of
Yeah.
course SEO helped us out a great deal. So we've helped start over 800 companies in 46 different states.
Hmm.
So it's been a great run. I mean, it's fun to work for yourself, your family, and not have to report into your boss every single day.
Hmm.
So yeah.
And one of the things that you did as you're building the company is talk to me about the technology and like patenting and just kind of like that process you went through, because since you were, I mean, you kind of systematically created this so that, you're not only obviously you're helping yourself, but as you get other trucks out there and other things, like, you're constantly improving. Talk to me about like the technology and what that looks like.
Yes. So we have 6 patents already approved. We have 2 patents pending, and certainly um, I have a group of our top clients that we meet on a regular basis to talk about efficiency. What do we
Hmm.
need to do? So it's not only John Conway; it's a group of people.
Yep.
I try and surround myself with people that are smarter than I am, and we have come a long way in terms of we have the most efficient cleaning system in the industry. We have
Hmm.
patents that protect that, and it just, when you're adding something that's more efficient, that means that you're able to clean a lot more trash bins and make a lot more money
Hmm.
and save on a lot of overhead.
Hmm. And so, looking at your overall career as an entrepreneur and as and creating this portfolio of businesses that you hold in these different business lines, like, what's next? What's your vision for Sparkling Bins, like, long term? What's the big vision?
So my big vision is to really bring national awareness to this
Mhm.
industry. I think once we do that, and we have some things that we're working on behind the scenes,
Yeah.
a national spokesperson, once that really kind of national exposure, I think it's going to help every single person out there that's doing this by getting
Mm.
more clients and having to buy more trucks. But my long-term vision, when I retire, if I retire, whatever it is that, every
We're
five
not gonna let you retire, first off, John, but continue.
every 5,000 miles, you have to change the oil in your car, right? You have to change
Mm.
the AC filter every month or every 2 or 3 months. I'm not sure, my wife does it.
Mhm.
Uh, you have to do, wash your windows every so often. Clean your house every so often. And guess what? You have to have your trash bins cleaned every month. So I, I'm trying to make it as common as having your oil change in your car, change
Mm.
the filter in your AC.
Yeah.
That's really going to come more so with more national exposure.
Yeah.
It's it, it I think when COVID hit us, this business
Hmm.
exploded tremendously.
Why do you think that was, by the way? I'm just curious why it exploded. Was it because people were home more and they're like, oh, wait a minute. I
Yes.
don't.
There was two things. I do remember the first month of COVID. I didn't know how this would impact our business.
Yeah.
And then we found out that pressure washing was essential, so we didn't have to shut down. Right.
Hmm.
So with people working from home, the exposure of people seeing our trucks was a lot greater.
Oh, that makes sense.
That
Okay.
they were working from home. A lot of people were actually converting their, let's say, their garage into a workout room or a
Yeah.
gym or an office.
And they didn't want that smelly trash can in there anymore. They're like, man, we want.
Yeah, they're on their treadmill and they smell that bin, and of course, and we kind of focus on areas that people have to put their bins in their garage, like these
Yeah.
HOAs. So I think with COVID, the exposure of germs and bacteria really helped. I
Hmm.
mean, I remember getting probably 10 phone calls from clients saying, "John, I need a second truck like right away." Like that's
Hmm.
how it just really took this business and exploded. It really did.
Now, from the business opportunity side, like somebody that's looking at getting into the business, and you mentioned before that you have trucks, that you do sell trucks, and you do help other people get into the business. Like, what does that look like? Number one, and number two, what kind of entrepreneurs do you find are normally kind of the right fit for this? You mentioned it's a long term play.
Yeah. So obviously, we try to be as transparent as possible with our clients.
Mhm.
We get phone calls and they'll say, "Listen, I'm going to quit my daytime job to do this." I'm like, "Okay, do you have any passive income coming in?"
Yeah.
No. Well, this is not a right fit for you. So we try to screen people to make sure that we're setting proper expectations.
Mm.
I can tell you that the most successful people are those that have owned other businesses before.
Yeah.
Have a they have maybe a landscaping business, a pressure washing
Yep.
business, pest control business. So,
Also, they might even have like complementary clients that they already have or
oh,
client list.
exactly.
So that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Hmm.
So it's more so people that are in the home service business already. This is just an add-on to that. So those are the
Ah.
entrepreneurs that we're trying to attract because they've already run a business. They have a client list of 3 or 4,000 clients that they
Hmm.
can reach out to, and those are the clients that really are able to grow and scale and order a truck every single spring.
That's interesting and grow year over year, huh? Yeah, I get it. That makes a lot of sense. And as their neighbors see it, and then it spreads. Just like I guess I'm from the Midwest originally, and I think about like when I would see like a snowplow. You see the new snowplow guy or whatever, and you're like, you see somebody else, and you're out there doing it yourself, and then your neighbor maybe didn't. And I'm thinking about when I'm a kid, if my dad has me out there, right, and I just be looking at that other one like, man, why not? So at some point you're like, I don't want to push this plow myself. How much is this guy? Okay, it's worth it. I'm in. So I feel like that in a different way. It's like you see somebody come, your beautiful truck comes, cleans the trash, everything else. The guy's out there cleaning his trash by hand or with some brush. And he's like, man, what am I doing? Let me pay for this thing.
Yeah.
Am I off?
No. So that you're 100% correct in that in regard. So that's why if you talk to my drivers, they'll tell you that they pick up probably about 10 to 15 new clients on location as they're cleaning bins. A neighbor
Yep.
comes home saying, "What's my neighbor doing now? Keeping up with the Joneses." Okay, let's stop. Okay, if they're doing that, I'm going to do it as well. So what you find, Adam, over time is that you may have one client on that one street, and then 6 months later, there's 20 people because people are seeing you. That's why we tell
Yeah.
clients when you first start
And it
cleaning.
compounds, right? Because then you're there and then you're there more often. And now it's like, oh, this person, this person, this person. You're like, why aren't we not using that yet?
Yeah, I mean, that, and we also encourage to offer a client referral program. So for every
Mm,
client they refer over to us, give them a free cleaning. And
mm,
I'd say at least 20% of our new clients come from referrals. And there's no need to convince them because the person who had their bin cleaned already is convincing them,
yeah.
I'm going to call my sister, my father-in-law. They're going to love the service. So that really helps us out as well.
Uh, I want to circle back to some of the content being created because I understand your daughter Victoria hosts a podcast. I'm a big fan of promoting and other podcasters as well. Trash Chatter, talk to me about that. It's an amazing idea.
So a funny story. went to go visit my son up in New Jersey, and he said to me, this is about 2.5 years ago. He says, "Dad, have you ever watched the Joe Rogan podcast?" I'm like, "Who's Joe Rogan and what the heck's a podcast?" So he actually went onto YouTube TV and pulled up a podcast. He was interviewing Elon Musk. I'm like, wow, this is pretty cool. The guy's in a t-shirt.
Yeah.
He's casual and smoking a cigar. And I'm like, wow, this is pretty cool. And my son said, "Dad, he makes a lot of money. He makes a lot of money." So I looked at Victoria, said, "Let's start a podcast about the bin washing industry." So we called it Trash. We actually tried getting Trash Talk, but that was already trademarked. So
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense that would be. Mm-hmm.
So I mean, we have over 50 episodes out there, and we have over 8 to 12,000 views. So we do encourage entrepreneurs as they're looking into this business to go out there and spend. It's on YouTube, it's on Spotify, it's on Apple Music.
Yeah.
And I've had clients say, "I've listened to every single one of your podcasts, and it's really helped me prepare myself a lot better into getting into this industry." So the podcast is really meant to help people make a decision. Is this the right business for them? What do they need to do to prepare themselves? And hearing it not from us, but hearing it from other people.
Yeah.
That have one truck, that have 12 trucks in their fleet.
Yeah.
People are just getting started. So it's been very educational, and it's been a great hit.
Well, John, congrats on the success of Sparkling Bins, and also on the business opportunity that you're providing other entrepreneurs. And what I like about this story, one of the things I like about it the most, is that you found success, and now even through your trucks and allowing others to have the opportunity, you've allowed others into the business, and you've shared content and knowledge through on things like your podcast. You don't have to do that. You choose to do that. Sure, it does drive business, but it's not one of those things that everybody does. Some people keep all their secrets to themselves or with internally or otherwise. The fact that you're leading with content, leading with opportunity, and leading with a good heart and bringing other people into the business, I think it's amazing. John, last thing I'll ask you, how do people follow up? How do they learn about the opportunity? How do they learn about the service? Like, how do people connect?
Yeah, so basically, all they have to do is just go to sparklingbinsbusiness.com, go to our contact form, submit a request. We have a sales team that will call you, and they're more of a team that's going to be acting as a consultant first, not just trying to sell you a piece of equipment, ask you questions and try to fit the right equipment for you. So sparklingbinsbusiness.com, our contact form, that's how you can reach us. And certainly I talk to at least a lot of clients or prospects every single week, as well as my sales team.
Fantastic, John. And everybody, I definitely want you to go check out Trash Chatter with Victoria Conway, because we love supporting other podcasters out there, and we definitely want to tune in there and see what's going on. Speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe or that follow button. This is a daily show. Each and every day we're releasing new episodes, new content, and hopefully new inspiration to help you along the way on your journey. John, man, really appreciate you coming on the show and sharing your story. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. Appreciate it.